And Thuram, this season, he's having a career best in goals with 18, adding 5 assists to his goal contribution tally across 47 appearances. Going to be one of the key players to watch in this final coming up tomorrow against PSG. And Chuck, I want to get your thoughts on Marcus Thuram as it relates to the legacy that his father had and what it's like for Marcus Thuram kind of coming into his career under, that spotlight and then making a name for himself.
I can't imagine dealing with that pressure of playing in your father's shadow. And shout out to the family, because his brother Thuram too is at Juve. Your father is a World Cup winning legend, icon of the game for France. Had played at Juventus. Everyone knows him as one of the best defenders of all time. Here you are as an attacking player trying to make your own. And he got his first opportunity with Sochaux, my former club in France, which is obviously well known for developing talent. And then we just saw him continue to stay progressing throughout his career. And I just love what I've seen from him. What he brings to the table is just his ability to stay humble. He always has a smile on his face, and he gets that from his father. You could see the family as a whole, there's a lot of love and support, and they always talk about how they're together and they have all these conversations as they move on. So the pressure obviously hasn't gotten to him or his brother, and I think that speaks volumes of how they are as a family and just how they've held themselves accountable throughout their career. And it's wonderful to see. It's very hard. Imagine your father being like a Michael Jordan or someone who's really well known as won the ultimate trophies and trying to live up to that.
But the plus side of it is that your dad can help you with things that other parents who weren't in those situations.
But do you really want to hear from your dad? You're like, yeah, I got it, Dad, I got it. No, I do think, though, to your point,
it's a little different.
that he has an IQ for the game and an understanding of the game that maybe most players lack because of his dad's experience, because they were talking about the game at probably a very sophisticated level in the household since he was a baby. And I think that does give him an advantage in some capacity.
But think about it, and I'll ask both of you, how many legendary players, top players who have hit that rare echelon of professional sports, their offspring make it to that level? Think about it.
Yeah.
It is very difficult
very many.
because of the expectations and the pressure and living up to what your father or mother had done in the past. It is very difficult. So I don't think we're giving this situation enough credit, because it's not only Marcus, it's Thuram too.
Yeah, really talented family, no doubt about it. And Jimmy, for Marcus Thuram, that move to Inter was a massive, just pivotal moment in his career. How much did you see Marcus Thuram evolve since that move to Inter, and what he's done in the years since? Well,
I think when you look back at a career, you can say I learned a lot at each step, right? So when he was in France, he was trying to create his own identity from his father, who's a defender. He's more of an attacking player. How does he want to play? How does he enjoy the game? Then he goes to Germany and plays at Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's playing in a 4-2-3-1 and being isolated a little bit as the 9. I know they had Alassane Playa at that point, so he had some attacking talent around him. When he moves to Inter, now he goes into a 3-5-2, a lot more of a structured environment post-World Cup and Simone Inzaghi. They have already had success as a team, so now he's just an important piece of the puzzle that's going to help them reach greater heights. And he's helped them do that, and I think he's formed a great partnership with Lautaro. With all due respect to Borussia Mönchengladbach, he's just surrounded by better talent. And that's allowed him to express himself in a really important way. As a former center back myself, I would not like to play against Marcus, mainly because if you get too tight, he's got the ability and the wherewithal to, I'm just going to get in behind you, right? And even if he knows he doesn't get the ball, maybe on that initial pass, he's going to circle back and find it again. You always have to be constantly aware of him. If I dropped off of him, he's going to get it and turn and run at me because he's good in 1v1 situations as well, and he can make that final pass, as we saw in the World Cup final when he gave it to Mbappe. I mean, he can do it all, and it makes him very dynamic, and so ultimately I wouldn't want to play against him.
What I see from him as a former striker is his unselfishness. He's willing to make that run even though I'm not going to get the ball. Can I be the decoy? The reason why Lautaro Martinez has had such a successful campaign is because he stretches the field. He's not the hold-up play, and we saw Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez have a good little partnership in that run in 22-23. But what we're seeing here is a player that runs in behind, if a team stay high, he's the one that's stretching them. He provides width. He runs off the ball, which allows more space underneath for Lautaro Martinez. So I think they really complement each other well. But Marcus Thuram, he's not relied on just to score goals, because I don't think he is your 20, 30 goal scorer as a striker. But what he does, he's so important because he's impactful. The way he holds up the play, wins fouls, tracks down defensively, both sides of the ball. That's what makes him such a value-added piece for Inter Milan, because he plays both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I think the stats back that up with regard to what you're saying. He only has 2 goals in 2025 in Serie A. In the Champions League, though, round of 16, he scored in both legs against Feyenoord. In the quarterfinals, had a key assist against Bayern Munich in Munich.
Wait,
and then
who only has 2 goals in Serie A?
Marcus Thuram, since 2025 started.
Oh, okay.
Right? So no, I'm just trying to...
He's ready to come for you.
I'm just trying to...
Oh, my God.
I'm just trying to back up what you're saying, that he provides value in a lot of different ways. But he's got 3 goals and 2 assists in the Champions League since the knockout rounds began. So he's stepping up in big moments, right? And he scored a goal against Barcelona as well. And I do think he's going to have an impact in this game tomorrow.
Yeah, look, every Batman needs a Robin. And we would not be talking about Lautaro Martinez in the way we're talking about him. I think you're really right. This is a guy we need to give a lot more respect to. And I'm going to disagree with you a little bit about he needed better players around him. This is a guy that's an upgrade from Romelu Lukaku. He's a better footballer, better fit for Inter than Romelu Lukaku was when they made the Champions League final. He's the reason why, I'm just spitting out of my mouth, but he's the reason why
You're excited.
They have an edge in this match because of him. And his ability to play with Lautaro Martinez, I love what you said about him stretching the field. This is a guy that, I remember watching him when he was at Gladbach. His second to last season, he was very poor. Technically, he was very poor. Gifted physically, but his technique will let him down. And we see this with a lot of athletic players. You have everything in your head. You know what you want to do. You know that physically no defender wants to play with you. And the manager that changed his career, can you guess it? It'll shock you.
You got Marco Rosa, you got Adi Hutter, who are at Mönchengladbach.
Daniel Farke.
Okay, or Daniel Farke.
Daniel Farke at Leeds United gave him the freedom to go and express himself and allow him to be more of that polished striker. And the credit has to go to the player, but it also has to go to his current manager in Simone Inzaghi for making the move and saying, hey, this is a guy that can elevate us to get back to a Champions League final. The sequence that we saw and the way they played against Bayern Munich, that unselfish play that you mentioned, I mean, the audacity to Cruyff it back for an assist? Are you kidding me? This is a guy that we often talk about the most underrated strikers in the world. For me, he's right up there with the likes of Julian Alvarez for the most underrated striker in world football right now. This guy has been that impressive and made that much of a mark on Champions League football and Italian football in the last 2 years.
One of the matches that stands out to me, and this is just from watching a striker, the way he works for the team. It's not a goal. It's not an assist. It's 120 minutes he put into that second leg against Barca. His work ethic for the team, it felt like he was playing on one leg, but he was so impactful. Just his runs, the timing of his runs, his ability to close down space. That's where you see the value in a striker when they're not scoring goals. What else? How do you contribute in a big match, an important match when you need everyone bought in? That's the example. So I absolutely love everything about Marcus Thuram and what he's been able to accomplish so far.
He's come a long way. Didn't he get checked by a security guard at the San Siro? Like he had to show a Google image because they didn't think he was a player?
Wow.
Yeah, he had to show someone to get into the San Siro back in the day.
Wow.
This is pre-Inter.
Wow.
When he was playing for Mönchengladbach, but...
And look at him now.
That's wild.
Nobody would mistake him now,
No, of
certainly.
course, of course.
Well, he
And the mask,
rides
too.
around the city in his bike, and he just acts normal. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, he's got such a great mentality. And, you know, we talk a lot when it comes to these finals about legacy, because these are the legacy-defining moments for players, for managers. What would a Champions League title, Lahud, do for the legacy of Marcus Thuram?
You talked about being in a family where your dad has achieved so many of the things that you can only dream of.
That's some big clubs, too.
Well, a Champions League, that gives you a talking point at the family dinner table where you're like, Dad, the World Cup, the Euros, check out my Champions League medal right there. And any father, both of you are fathers, and I'm excited
Soon to
become a father. that has to be one of the greatest moments as a parent when you see your own child carving out their own destiny and creating their own future. This Champions League title would be a massive step in him carving out and creating his own future.
I think he already has. He's been to a World Cup final. Unfortunately, lost to Argentina, but for me, he's already done a terrific job of creating his own path, his own legacy. And obviously, you want to continue to cement that legacy by winning trophies.
But yes, a Champions League trophy would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool.
But, I mean,
I get what you're saying.
The guy's playing the World Cup final. He's playing the Champions League final already. He's done way more than probably ever expected.
But still, winning the Champions League trophy.